I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome to another review. Hopefully by the time you see this, you'll realize that today I'm doing sort of two underrated sequels that maybe I've talked about before. I know I've talked about before, but I want to talk about again. One was Defending Predator 2, and this one is talking about another very underrated sequel. Tremors 2 Aftershocks. Now, of course, this is part of the Tremors Attack Pack, which I did a spotlight on talking about all the films. And real quick, like Tremors 1, I love to death. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, great script, great directed by Ron Underwood, who did City Slickers. A lot of fun, very entertaining, great blue collar folks. Fuck you! We killed it. Good boy, Mr. Bassett, this is your wake-up call. Please move your ass. Stampede, Earl! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! You dumb shit. Now, is it 3 or more? Like, how many does it actually take to be a stampede? I'll probably stampede up your ass. Just great back and forth. Wonderful special effects by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodward Jr. Wonderful film, Tremors. One of my favorites. I don't know what more I can say. I talked a lot. I think Tremors, I talked a lot on that spotlight. So Tremors, love Tremors. Tremors 2 Aftershocks, the review got taken down. It was part of my season 9 favorite horror films because of copyright is Universal. But I know my Tremors 3 and 4 reviews are still up, as well as me talking about the TV show. Tremors 3 was okay at best, but that was like the only one of the bunch that was actually PG. Yeah, Tremors 3 was actually a PG film. Michael Gross is the lead, cool, but I miss Fred Ward, I miss Kevin Bacon. Other than Michael Gross, I didn't really care for the rest of the cast. Them being ass blasters flying, okay, whatever, it's okay. It was an okay film, but it wasn't really that funny or memorable or stuff. It was okay. And Tremors 4, The Legend Begins, I did not like. It's a prequel. I didn't like that it took place in the Wild West. It's Michael Gross is in it, but he plays an ancestor of Burt Gummer. Only this guy, he was a rich guy who doesn't know anything about firearms until the very end. So, it was Michael Gross playing pretty much a different character, and I didn't really care about the character. I didn't care about anybody in the film. The Wild West setting, I just didn't interest me. I think it was made for Sci-Fi Channel. You could tell with the budget that they had. Just didn't interest me. If you want to learn more, you can watch my Tremors 3 and 4 reviews. They're still up on my channel. Just type in Tremors 3 or Tremors 4. But today, again, I wanted to talk about Tremors 2 Aftershocks. Now, it kind of has a weird history with me because I remember in middle school, actually, being a big Tremors fan, I was really excited for Tremors 2. I saw the trailer for it. And, so I wanted to talk to people at school about it. And they would make fun of me. Yeah, well, I don't know. I never understood why. I don't know if they thought I was lying. Oh, what's next? Tremors 6? Tremors 7? And I'm like, well, close. It's Tremors 4, and they did do a TV series. I guess at first they wanted to do a TV series with Val and Earl characters. Kind of like people around the world knew them as monster hunters. So it'd be like kind of like Kolchak the Night Stalker, where it'd be like a new monster every week. I don't know how that would work. All I know is I love Val and Earl as characters, and if you had Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, then yeah, I would see a TV show no matter what, but I just don't know if that would work. Even the TV show that we did get, I liked some of the episodes, but by the end of the season, it was done. It didn't need any more. But I did a review of the TV series. It's on my channel as well. But Tremors 2 Aftershocks, it took a while for it to get made because Tremors 1 was 1989, I think maybe January of 1990, somewhere around there. And it took about 6 years. I think this was 96 when it came out. Yeah, 1996. I think they started filming in 1994, then they got done, and then it took a while to get everything situated and get released. I think it went straight to DVD. If it went in theaters, I don't remember it, but again, I think it was just a direct-to-DVD film, and I will go so far and say Tremors 2 is my all-time favorite direct-to-DVD movie. Well, that's a tough word. It's at least my favorite direct-to-DVD sequel. As for a direct-to-DVD movie in general, I have to look in that. But I definitely know it's my favorite direct-to-DVD sequel. People go, oh, that's not big. You know how many direct-to-DVD sequels there have been? Shitloads. And I think Tremors 2 Aftershocks is the best. You know, it beats the shit out of direct-to-DVD Leprechaun, Hellraiser, fucking Children of the Corn, all that stuff. The other Tremors films. Just Tremors 2 Aftershocks I really do enjoy. Just a 5.7 IMDb. I think it should be higher. Basically, the story is you have Fred Ward coming back as Earl Bassett. And what I like about the film, first and foremost, on Tremors 2 Aftershocks is they sort of make a little fun history that after the first film that there was merchandising. So you see like in Earl's little trailer, they did like a Graboid video game, like an arcade machine, and there's pictures, and like someone mentions, oh, I remember you and Val doing that Reebok commercial when you run through the desert. I could totally see that happening, them doing a commercial, a Reebok commercial, them running through the I would love to see that commercial. I mean, of course, they never did. I just mean that'd be fun to see. But I could imagine these characters doing that. I know the big thing people don't like about Tremors 2 is that Kevin Bacon didn't come back. Well, from what I heard, they offered Kevin Bacon. I think a big reason was in 1994, which they started filming. It just, it takes a while to film a movie, then edit it and stuff. I think around 1994, Kevin Bacon was doing Apollo 13. So he had an offer to do Apollo 13, so he took that offer. Thus he was in Apollo 13. So it's sad that he didn't do it. I know I heard at one time he would have liked to have done it. Now maybe he changed his mind since then, or maybe not, but I remember hearing at one time that he would like to have done, but he was just doing Apollo 13. But, it took so many years to get the film made in the first place. They probably thought, well, we gotta make it now, otherwise maybe Universal. Because the first Tremors film did okay at the box office, but it wasn't a huge hit. And it mainly made a lot of money on videotapes. So that's why, okay, if that made a lot of videotapes, maybe this will. And obviously it did, because you have sequels in the TV series. But anyway, Tremors 2 Aftershocks, yeah, it's sad that Kevin Bacon doesn't come back. That's why I would say the first one is my favorite. But Tremors 2 is very, very close. Like, almost on par with the first film. I really do mean that. Because it's still very funny, very entertaining. Usually direct-to-DVD sequels suck. I don't think Tremors 2 sucks at all. And again, like I was saying, Earl Bassett, while Val, you hear that Val, Kevin Bacon's character, and Finn Carter, they got married and having a good life. Earl, didn't get a lawyer. He didn't get much of the profits off the merchandising, and now he's just here on this little ostrich farm. And then before that, the movie starts out with a bang, a person being chased by a graboid and gets eaten. That's like right off the bat, like, wow, this sequel doesn't mess around. And I really like the music, the main theme, the down 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 down. I really like that piece of music. And so Earl gets visited by these two people. One of them includes a fan of his, played by Christopher Gartin. Now, Christopher Gartin, trying to see what else he's been in. I'm trying to see what else he's been in. Oh, I guess he was in Firstborn, actually, Christopher Gartin. He was in Firstborn. He was on a lot of TV shows like Mantis. A lot of other TV shows. He was in Flight Plan. Didn't I know he was in Flight Plan? More TV shows, Numbers, CSI, CSI New York, The Mentalist. Huh. Yeah, done a lot of TV shows, but I didn't know he was in Flight Plan. Yeah, I guess he was in Firstborn, which I know is a friend my friends Mike and Effrey talk about. And I thought he did a fine job here. Like him and this guy that's hiring, Earl Bassett, he sort of runs the oil facilities in Mexico. And they found out that there's a rash of graboid activity, so they want the guys who have dealt with these creatures. And Val, Kevin Bacon's character, has passed on it, so they offered to Fred Ward. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. You know, I almost got myself killed last time. But Christopher Gartin, he's very excited about the opportunity, the prospect. He's a really big fan, and I don't think the guy was annoying. Is he as good as Kevin Bacon? No, he never would have been. But I still think he did a good job. I still think him and Fred Ward still had good chemistry between each other. He was still a likable character. He's very eager, but I didn't think he was annoying. It really seems like he really was a big fan of what Val and Earl did. Uh, He's like, this could be your second big chance. It's $50,000 for each Graboid. And he's not sure about it. Like he mentioned something about, October 74. It's like, what's that? It's, it's like a spreadsheet of a Playboy. It's like, you know why that's there? To remind me to stop chasing things I'll never get. Which actually pays off later. But ultimately, he gets it because Christopher Garth says, this could be your second big chance. And ultimately, he doesn't want to do it, but he decides to do it because he needs the money and such. And I bought that reasoning. It wasn't like, oh, he's a dumbass. I bought that reasoning, especially when they're telling him that, the Mexican government is going to give him whatever firepower he needs. So Christopher Garden decides, okay, I'm going to join you. Come on, you thought I would come down here, just to say hi and such. He's like, okay, great. That means when they're eating you, it gives me a chance to get away. I thought that was pretty funny for Fred Ward. Fred Ward, I'm a big fan of Fred Ward from Remo Williams, and I always liked him as an actor. This is my favorite performance, and Tremors 2 is Earl Bassett, my favorite character that Fred Ward played. I think he's excellent in the film. And I thought him and Christopher Garden did a good job with it. They go to Mexico, they meet some of the crew, including Helen Shaver. And I thought she was a very capable actress. She was in Best Defense. Well, it's not her fault on that movie. She was in The Color of Money. Let's see. Trying to see what other movie she's been in. That TV show Poltergeist: The Legacy. She was in the movie The Craft. Let's see. Something called Zebrahead. Probably the most famous is The Color of Money. And Best Defense, sadly enough. That's sad because Helen Shaver, I mean, she's on a lot of films, but a lot of them I don't know of. Oh, she's a director too. She's directed movies. Well, TV, so she's directed a lot of TV shows. Including a show called The Firm and Combat Hospital and Law and Order Special Victims Unit. She's directed episodes of that. Huh. Castle. She's directed Medium, Standoff, Judging Amy, Joan of Arcadia. She directed episodes of The Outer Limits and Poltergeist Legacy. Wow, she directed episode of the 90s Outer Limits. Huh, that's interesting. But yeah, Helen Shaver, I thought she was did a really good job here. She's the love interest, but I liked her because I'm not going to say she had a roughness to her, but she wasn't, ooh, I broke a nail. Like she could handle herself. Like you could tell she could handle herself. I like how they play off. Like you have the typical where she bends over and Fred Ward looks at her ass. But when he bends over, she does the same thing and she looks at his ass. So like that sort of equality. Like, okay, she's not going to be just a damsel in distress. They're going to treat these characters equally. And I like that. Uh, so Fred Ward and Christopher Gartin, they go off. And I like the plan for the Graboids is they have a bunch of toy cars and they have like dynamite, so they drive it until the Graboid hears it and grabs it and then they hit it. I love like the first time. This is a wonderful script, by the way. I mean, it's written by S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock. Same guys who wrote the first film, and these guys have done a lot of work. I mean, these guys also wrote Short Circuit 2, Batteries Not Included, this film, Tremors 1 and 2, which I thought loved all those stuff. I loved all those movies. Heart and Souls with Robert Downey Jr., which I don't think I've seen. Ghost Dad, haven't seen that with Bill Cosby. Yeah, Wild Wild West. But, everybody has a bad movie. Everyone has a bad movie. But yeah, S.S. Wilson got a chance to direct here, and then the other writer, Brent Maddock, got a chance to direct part 3, then S.S. Wilson directed part 4, which I don't think was that good. And then they both developed the TV series that came out, but so they're definitely big behind the Tremors films. But he did a capable job directing S.S. Wilson, and the script, you realize it's two of the people who wrote Tremors 3 and 4. Like, Tremors 3 was written by a guy named John Welpley, and Tremors 4 was written by a guy named Scott Buck. So maybe that's why Tremors 3 and 4 are not as good as 1 and 2, because S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock didn't write it. But really wonderful script, just very funny, very likable characters, very fun moments. Like, again, when Earl is driving the toy car with the dynamite, when the Graboid gets it, Christopher like, hit it! And like, Earl Bassett, like, Fred was trying to hit it, but he realizes, oh shit, he's still holding the damn remote control, and then he's like, oh shit. It grabs the detonator and finally fires it up and blows it up, and then Fred Ward gets an umbrella. Christopher Gartin like, what you did? Oh shit. And then all the parts just fly right over into Christopher Gartin. And Fred Ward's like, I told you. And Christopher Gartin's like, but I forgot. They have fun moments, and they blast the shit out of a lot of Graboids. Really good special effects. Again, the special effects in this film is done by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodward Jr. Same guys who did Tremors, and look those guys up. They've done a lot of work, Alec Gillis and Tom Woodward Jr. They've done a lot of work. A lot of good work. Really capable, wonderful special effects. Like the Graboids themselves, no CGI in that. The other creatures, a little bit of CGI, but there's a lot of practical stuff, which you're surprised by a direct-to-DVD film, let alone a sequel. But like other fun moments, like they're relaxing on the truck, and there's a Mexican radio station playing on the radio on the ground, and then it gets swallowed up, and they look over, and Fred Ward's like, you left the radio on the ground? And Christopher Gartin's like, whoops. And that actually comes back later, funny enough, because they have this seismic monitor that the government put up so they can see where Graboids are coming from. And first they hear music, and Christopher Gartin's like, wait a minute, I recognize that station. That is actually the same Graboid. He swallowed the radio, but you can still hear it. And it grabs actually the chain of the truck and it's like dragging them all over the place. I thought it was really funny. What I mean by fun moments is like, for instance, they're sleeping, on top of a rock for the night, and they hear a coyote. It's like, is that a coyote? Fred Ward's like, yep. You better keep quiet. And then the howling like stops and goes, ah! And Fred Ward just goes, yep. Uh, Ultimately, they start doing it and they realize they have a little bit more than they chewed up, so they call in Michael Gross. Comes back as great Burt Gummer. And Michael Gross, I think he did a fantastic job here. I mean, he's all right in part 3. Maybe the script just wasn't the best. But he really shines in this film. I'll be honest, I mean, I liked him in the first film, but I think this is Michael Gross's best performance as Burt Gummers in Tremors 2. Because he's like being sort of a slob-ass home. He actually has a gigantic fucking Graboid on his wall, mounted on his wall. And you find a little story that Reba McEntire's character left him. Once he hears it, he's ready to get in, and he drives his truck in, and he has like all these heavy explosives and like this anti-tank gun, all of this shit. And so he goes off, and they start sort of competing. Or like this one fun business, Michael Gross has all these MREs like ready to eat that the military had. And it has like everything. It has like toilet paper and all these kinds of foods in it. And there's like this package. He gives it to them. And then Fred Ward, you just hear Fred Ward eat. He's like, "Ew, this tastes like toilet paper." Christopher Gartin is like, "Earl, that is the toilet paper." But that's what I mean. Like everybody is like they're having fun with really fun dialogue between the characters, solid chemistry. Like Christopher Garden and Fred Ward, I think they work together. Like he doesn't know anything about rock, paper, scissors, and Fred Ward is trying to teach him. Because he's like, who gets the last soda? And Fred Ward's like, 1, 2. And Christopher Garden's like, what are you doing? He's like, rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3. It just tastes the soda. And Christopher Garden's like, what's this? Like, rock beats scissors. I win. I mean, it's hard to explain why something's funny without showing footage. Universal, you dickheads. Uh, but I just found it insanely entertaining. And then ultimately it gets to a point where they're chasing one that for some reason is going away from them, and they're going after it. And one thing leads to another, and the truck fucks up, but they find the Graboid right there, but it won't do anything. And it's like they somehow caught a live one. And it's really like Michael Gross is like competing them. He's like showing off on the radio. And Christopher Garden's like telling them that we got a live one. And Michael was like, a live one? Well, how in the... And then Christopher Garden's like, well, that's us. Us to know, you to find out. Have a good time hunting, Bert. And Fred Ward's like, I bet that burned his skinny ass. And then they hear this weird howling coming from it. And then when they come up, I like the way it's done. It's kind of one of those few scenes in the movie that's actually spooky, where you see the back of the Graboid. And the way the music, I like the music and the way it slowly goes in around, and it's during nighttime. And it goes around, you see the inside of the Graboid. Like, really good practical effects. And like, what the hell happened? And Freddy Ward's like, he's basically talking about, something, looks like something might have come out of it. And they're wondering what the hell's going on. And then they had called in previously, and there's this guy, Pedro, coming for them. But then this truck stops, and it's like, why the hell did he stop? And Christopher Gar's like, maybe he's taking a leak? And then it fades, and they're both sitting there, and Fred Ward's like, that's a long leak. Maybe it's just me that finds it funny, but I just thought the dialogue, the characters, the actors really did their jobs well. That's why it was very entertaining. When you get really solid creatures like Graboids that are really well done practical effects, which I hold this, but the Graboids don't really look like that. It is kind of a little bit false advertising. They don't quite look like that. They really don't. So Yeah, I just realized they really don't look like that with the teeth. They don't really have teeth like that, but it doesn't really have any pictures on it. But either way, uh, they decide to go after and they find, the guy's arm just hanging there. It's like, oh shit, it's a whole new damn goddamn ball game. And they realize that for some reason, it ate the engine of the car and the radio got fucked up. They don't know what's going on. You realize that I like this idea that they bring new creatures to the table called these things called shriekers. They're smaller, but they're faster, and they have this flap that goes up and it sees an infrared. So they have to go tell people what's going on. Like Helen Shaver's talking to this person gets attacked, and you see like eating the guy's leg off. And basically, they kill that, and they kill one that's on the truck. And then they see Burt Gummer coming, and his truck completely wrecked because he got attacked. And but he has this fun thing. I am completely out of ammo. That's never happened to me before. Like he's sort of pissed, like, how come no one told me about this, about these things? Like, I don't know. You just have to see it. I found it actually pretty funny. Uh, but, it shows that he's a badass as well. And he actually caught one of them alive. They bring it in to study it, but there's actually another one hidden under the truck. And it starts eating the MREs. And what you find out is that when it eats, it spits out another. Especially, I guess you call it hermaphrodite. It reproduces without having sex. I think that's a hermaphrodite. I may be wrong. It's asexual. Is it asexual? I can't remember the right term for it. But basically, it reproduces without having sex. So, if it eats enough, it can spit out another, which, will give them the edge. And, of course, the creature got into MREs, and there's, like, a bunch out there. They gotta get the hell out of there. And then the ending is them trying to stay alive. It's funny, like, they try to go to this building, Helen Shaver's, like, warning, no, wait, this isn't going to work. Because they go right through the door, and then it's a close-up, and they go, oh, Christopher Darn's like, oh, shit, and it pans out, and it's because the building isn't finished. The building isn't finished. Isn't fully built. And, you have a bunch of other stuff that happens, them trying to get away. I'm not going to say everything that happens, but ultimately, Fred Ward has to come up with a plan, douses him with a fire extinguisher to make it look like he's cold so they don't see him because they see an infrared. Finds a bomb, puts it in there, they escape. Huge ass explosion, and basically they sort of walk off, not into the sunset, but like there's this like big crater, and basically the last bit of dialogue. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Playboy. Helen Shaver, you actually found out that Helen Shaver's character was actually the October 74. And they have a fun dialogue about that. And then into the ending, like, Christopher Gartin is still trying to get Fred Ward to talk about, hey, we got to do like a theme park on this. Come on, Earl and Grady's Monster World. Now, come on, Earl, this could be your big third chance. I know I'm going all over the place. I'm gushing like a fanboy on the film because I am a fanboy on the film. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, the great quotes and dialogue in this film. Yeah, again, only a handful of CGI effects with the shriekers, the little guys. But I thought the CGI for a direct-to-DVD film was fairly well done. And they still put in a lot of practical stuff in it, which I appreciate, which really helps. And the big Graboids, those are done practically. So they got a lot for their money, and I don't think this film cost that much money. It was entertaining. It was fast-paced, very likable cast. I really enjoyed the score, especially the main theme. Who did the music? Jay Ferguson. Thought he did a good job with the music. And I want to see real quick. What else has Jay Ferguson done? Let me just check that real quick. But yeah, I mean, for a film that went straight to video, I was going to say straight to DVD, but this is at the time of video, it's really well done. And if you're a fan of the first film, I really don't understand why you would not be a fan of this film. I mean, I guess, you know, the only way I would see it is because, you know, there's no Kevin Bacon. Yeah, I'm sad that there's no Kevin Bacon either, but, you know, that doesn't make it a bad movie. This is still a very solid sequel. I don't think Christopher Gartin, like, they even play around with that, like, oh yeah, you're the guys, and Christopher Gartin's like, well, actually, I'm sort of the new guy. And they sort of ignore him and talk to Fred Ward. So they actually play off that too. Uh, but I just found this a very entertaining film. The cast clicked. The writing really worked. The effects were there. It was very entertaining. I thought it went at a fast pace. The Graboids, this new idea of the shriekers, very interesting. I thought it was really nice that they put that in there. Let's see, Jay Ferguson also composed. Bestseller. Oh, Pulse. He composed Pulse from 1988. I like Pulse. I like the score to that. Oh, and Bad Dreams. I remember liking the score to Bad Dreams. License to Drive. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Well, I actually don't mind the score to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I don't mind the music to that. It's the rest of the movie. He actually did the music to Double Dragon. That's funny. Oh, he came back, did the music for Tremors 4. And he does a lot of music for NCIS Los Angeles, so. Well, either way, I think there's a very underrated sequel. I think it's a very solid sequel. I think if you like Tremors 1, you'll like Tremors 2 Aftershocks. I mean, I got it in this pack because it had all 4 films, and it's a pretty cheap price. That's why I got it. That'd probably be the best way to get it if you don't have any of the films. At least for the first 2. And again, the Tremors 3 I thought was okay, but again, my Tremors 3 and 4 reviews are up. You guys can look back, and also the spotlight I did on this. But either way, Tremors 2 Aftershocks, I think it works very well. I think it's very entertaining. It's very funny. Fred Ward, I love him as the lead. It's great to see him in the lead of a movie like this. It's always nice to see those actors get their chance to be, you know, the main hero of the story. Like, you know, Fred Ward got Remo Williams in this film. He didn't get too many like that. He got one called, like, Time Runner, but that was boring as hell, or whatever the hell it was called. Casadeli's Spell, I don't remember, so maybe I have to see that again. But Fred Ward was excellent. I think Christopher Gartin did great. Helen Shaver, I really liked this actress. I really was a fan of her. Michael Gross really knocked out of the park. Great effects, fun dialogue, solid pace. It's a direct-to-video sequel that, honestly, I could see this going to theaters. I could have seen this going to theaters. I would love to have seen this at a movie theater, just like the first film. You know, I could see Tremors 2 Aftershocks being in a theater. I just because the first film wasn't a big hit at the theaters, they're like, okay, we'll just go direct-to-video, which is too bad. But maybe that was for the best case. But either way, I just really wanted to show my fanboys and my ideas on Tremors 2 Aftershocks. If you know, make a double night of Tremors 1 and 2. I think you guys will enjoy it, you know. So either way, thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for more reviews. Later.